Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Berry, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Mortgage Industry Mental Health Charter. And joining me today is Scott Howitt from Chartwell and Andrew Montlake from Coreco, two other co-founders of that Mortgage Industry Mental Health Charter. And we're passionate about health and well-being, and we're passionate about making sure that through difficult times, positive conversation is encouraged between employees and employers. So all about positive conversation. And then the purpose of the next 15-20 minutes is really just to have a look at the current state of the mortgage market and the impact that's having. We've used the word unprecedented in previous conversations, but we're certainly in an environment now, whether it's cost of living, inflationary, or just the various product withdrawals and service standards that we're seeing from lenders, which all boil down to I suppose just increasing anxiety and stress that we can have with our day-to-day, I suppose, working environment. So what I'd like to do over the next 15 minutes is just talk about some of the factors affecting our mental health and just coping mechanisms, really. So how the three of us deal with the challenges that are facing us on a day-to-day basis. So I think if I start with Scott first, if that's okay, buddy. I think just what I'm interested in is just some of the challenges at that macro environment level I've just referenced there, but I'm interested, I suppose, first of all, in just understanding the kind of impact it's had on you and the Chartwell team, and how you've managed the challenges that have been pressed upon us over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Jason. So I think in any other environment or any other time, what's interesting about this is we've probably got 5 or 6 things which we're currently coping with, where in normal circumstances you'd probably have just one, and you generally just focus on that and sort of either sideline it or pigeonhole it. Now what we've got is we're faced with a whole sort of plethora of things that we've got to deal with. I think the interesting thing for us is, and I certainly do this, is just to take it day by day. I don't think in these times you can think too far in front. And I think for the team, it's about, keeping them very much, up to speed. Communication is key within the team. We're constantly talking to each other, about, not just business, but about the outside world and about the impact. And I think it's really important that we continue to do that everybody's kept in the same picture, in the same light, so we're all in the same space, we're all dealing with the same things. None of us are obsolete from any of these things that are sort of impacting us on a day-to-day basis. But there are challenges, business challenges that come at us left, right and centre, and they come at us thick and fast each and every day. But I like to think we've got a business and organisation which is able to sort of talk to each other, deal with them. It's a shared problem, so we solve problems together. And I think credit to my team, credit to a lot of people in the industry, because I spoke to a lot of people about this. It would be very easy to get involved in the thick of it and sink very quickly. And I think a lot of people within our business, I say in the industry, I think have come through this or continue to come through all of these challenges very, very well, to be honest. So for me, it's always about, the collective, sharing the experiences, sharing the problems, keeping people informed, managing people's expectations properly. And I think that's all you can literally do in unprecedented times. These things don't happen. I think one of them probably got resolved yesterday, which was good. So she's on board and she's up and running. So that's terrific as far as I'm concerned, because I think that did create a spike of anxiety of what's going to happen next. And looking at some of the agendas that she's talking in terms of housing and things like that, I think they're all very positive, very, very positive from my point of view.
So Monty, Scott talks there about good communication, frequent communication, and sharing experiences, and he's obviously a big fan of Liz Truss, who was in there yesterday on the back of the focus you'll have on the new build housing. What about yourself in terms of that? You've obviously got you've got a young and energetic team in that Coreco business. How have you found leading and dealing with the challenges that they've been experiencing?
I found it look, like most people, I found it very difficult because we're all social animals, and I've gone on record as saying sometimes I struggle personally just because I thrive on people around me. And so if I'm not walking into an office and there's 40 people in the desk and it's all buzzy and everyone's getting into it, I struggle. So I think all we can do is try and do as much as possible to keep our culture going. And we are lucky at Coreco. We have got a young and energetic team, of course, young and energetic like me. But it's all about communication as much as possible, making sure that people are involved, keeping, if you're having events online, keeping them going, making sure you're talking to people all the time. If anyone's got any signs of anxiety, making sure that as a management team, you're looking out for things and then spotting it and then reaching out to people and talking to them. It's all really important. And I try and communicate as much as possible, as often as possible, to everyone, to keep the whole culture and everything that we've got going. It is very difficult at the moment because everyone is stressed. Wrongly, before August, I said, don't worry, August will be a bit quieter, it'll all calm down. How wrong was I? Most people have had an extraordinary August. But we all have to remember that we are all in this together. It's not just brokers. Yes, brokers are up until, they're often up until midnight. They're rekeying cases. They've got to put things on. Lenders' websites are going down, etc., and everyone's stressed. So you've got the clients on the back of that who are stressed, who are putting their stress onto the brokers. The amount of applications is feeding through to the admin who are stressed. They've never had so many applications, and the lenders themselves are getting so many cases. So it's all about understanding that we are all in this together, and there's no point shouting at each other. There's no point getting mad with each other. There's no point being aggressive towards lenders. It's all about making sure we all work together to get through this period, because this is just a snapshot in time. It will improve. It will get better. We will get through this. But I do think this is, although it sounds a bit crass to say, this is the hardest period I have experienced since the credit crunch. And the credit crunch was a very different set of circumstances when it was quite quiet. No one could do mortgages. That had a different type of stress. This feels very, very difficult. It feels difficult to be a broker. It feels difficult to process cases. It feels difficult to deal with clients. But that should be where, as brokers, we excel. And as an industry, what I've been really, really impressed with is how everyone has, 99% of people, they have come together. And we are affecting change. Things like all the stuff we're doing with the Mental Health Forum is we're talking about things we've never talked about before. And it is helping. It is making a difference.
And all three of us were around in doing different roles back in 2008. And do you feel, is it more difficult than it was in 2008? So I was, back then I was sales function at platform and pulling products with a moment's notice. It was incredibly challenging, going through a huge consultation period where you're scaling down staff, and it was it was a different kind of issue because there was no liquidity, so it's a different kind of landscape. But would you say is it more difficult or about the same or less difficult? What do you think, Monty?
I think it's as difficult but different in different ways. There's a real difference between worrying that, I remember at the time the company I was working for, business crashed 75% overnight, pretty much. And it was a different kind of stress. This feels relentless. It feels like there is always work to do. There's always someone on your back. So this is a very different type of stress, but no less stressful than it was then, just in a very different way.
Yeah. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Monty that I think it's a whole different set of circumstances. I can I can remember what I would deem as the Black Friday in the business I was working for, literally pressing the button to rerun the numbers 3 times and then pressing it again to go, the system must be wrong. It must have crashed. But the realization that, you know, that was the end of that for a period of time. I think because that had not really ever happened before, certainly not in my career, not in my lifetime. I think that was a sort of moment of crikey, what's going to happen next here? What really is going to happen? I think this is different, as Monty said, but this is a whole set of different circumstances in that I think lenders, there's lots of money swimming about. Lenders do want to, we've got an opposite, almost a polar opposite, where they have no money and now they've got loads of money, but they have to close the doors because they've got too many cases of people wanting to borrow that money. That's just different. But I think the other thing which is a little bit overlooked perhaps as well is, I think we have to remember we're coming off the back of a 2-year period which has never happened to any one of us ever before, and COVID was the legacy of COVID. Interestingly, I think it's going to play its way through for a long period of time, and not just from a health point of view. I think from society point of view, from people working at home, from people now being asked to go back into offices, and that just feels really, really different to me. It's almost like, you know, society looks a hell of a lot different to me post-COVID, a hell of a lot different. So that's in the back. It's sort of an undercurrent all the time there for me, that, to be honest, particularly when you're dealing with, you know, customers, you know, who've changed jobs, they've worked from home, they've done this, they've done that. And it just looks very different. Is it stressful? Yeah, it is. But you know, you've got to, I think you've just got to trade through it. You've got to see the light and trade through it. I think Monty's absolutely right. I think we're in a moment of time. Will things get better? Of course they'll get better. Of course they will. It's inevitable. That's what happens. It's cyclic. I'd rather be where I am now, knowing what I know now, than on the back of what we had before. Put it that way. I'd rather be here than I would be there.
That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that previous experience we're able to draw upon?
Yeah.
That experience as a way of actually, you know, delivering some perspective and creating some coping mechanisms. And I think what are those coping mecisms that we apply?
I think it allows you. To look at it and go, I do this all the time. It's just natural for me to do it. I go, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen was what happened before. We're nowhere near anything like that. So that the worst is the worst. This is not the worst. It's just a different set of things we have to deal with. I think we deal with we're all getting older, certainly the 3 of us. You know, some of these younger generation, the younger audience, the kids I'd call them, that are coming through, they've not encountered this. And it is important that you manage them properly, and it is important that you talk them through it. And, you know, they'll make their own minds up, but I think it allows you to develop this really thick skin of going, I know what it was like before, and let me tell you, this happened. Some of the kids, when I talk to some of ours, they go, cracky, what did you do? You just trade through. You just got to trade through. So I think it does help. Definitely, in a good way, not in a bad way. It helps you to develop that experience, that sort of thicker skin to go, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
So that demonstration of resilience, and I suppose that positive communication, it's happened before, which enables you to deliver some perspective around is useful and helpful, and that is then used as a way of actually, you know, demonstrating an ability to cope. Is that the same? How would you add to that, Monty?
Yeah, no, I think it is the same, and I often say actually those people who are maybe newer to the industry or haven't been doing it very long and now going through this is brilliant training ground for them, because when we do come out of this, they will be better people, they'll be better brokers, they'll be less flappable. And you know, when I started training, it was hard, and actually when it got easier, it was, wow, this is really easy. So actually when you're learning in times like these, it's a really, really good basis. and it'll get better and better, and you'll improve as a person. You're learning all these things, juggling all these things, trying to do it, working from home. I'm in my small Harry Potter-esque office cupboard under the stairs. But actually, once we do start getting back to offices and we do start mixing again, and actually things start to improve and get better, as they surely will, then everyone will be in a better place. And it's about trying to portray that and really get that point over, that, you know what, this is a snapshot in time. How can we're all in the trenches together. We're all trying to get through this together. I've got your back, someone's got my back. We've all got each other. We're all working our best we can do for the clients. And actually, things will improve. And it's just continually getting that message across. Because you're right, it could be a lot worse when you're not getting business in. Now we are getting lots of business in. But the stress is still the stress. But it's just about having those little coping mechanisms and making sure you can do that. That's really important.
So delivering good communication and reassurance that we've kind of lived this before, but different. But it was tough, but we get through it. We demonstrate resilience. Seems to be, I suppose, the kind of advice we'd be passing on. I want to pass on to young advisors or business principals who are maybe encountering this for the first time. Is there anything to add in terms of advice you'd give to maybe a business principal, a leader, or an advisor, Scott?
Yeah, I would. I think, and the three of us probably believe this, because we do what we do. I think you've got to, as a leader of a business, you absolutely must remain passionate about what you do in our industry, because the minute that starts to wane a little bit and cracks may start to appear and people press the panic button, very easy to press the panic button. I think with the media, frenzy that's caused all the time, is I think it's dead easy for your people, for your culture, for your values. I think it's very easy for that to have cracks appear in it. We're all, I know Monty, I know you are, we're just dead passionate about this industry and about what we do and the impact we have right at this moment in time. And as I've said, I think in these times, it's very difficult to make plans for a year, 2 years, 5 years down the line. You've got to live it almost day by day, because it is day by day at the minute. Everything's day by day at the minute, but we just got to stick together. Monty was right. He raised a point earlier, and I thought it was absolutely, really valid. Pointless shouting and all the rest of it, lenders, because they can't do this, they can't do that, and all the rest of it. They are our customers. They are in it with us. They're in the trenches together, and together, and it's only the way that together we'll come through it. And that's what I would say. Just still remain very, very passionate about what you do, because there'll be a brighter day, but it won't be too long. It won't be too far down the line. It just won't. It never is.
Yeah. And Monty, anything to add in terms of the individual advice to a business leader or an advisor?
Yeah, that passion. I've always said, stick to what you believe in and stick to your core principles. And when everything is, it's the old saying, when everyone about you is losing your head, etc. It's really easy to get sidetracked. It's really easy to press a panic button and make some sudden decisions without thinking them through. But actually, you're running your business. You've got to stick to the principles that you started off with, and that's really important. And that's why I bloody love this industry, by the way, because that is what we do best. We are one of the most resilient industries that there is. We always come through things. We always adapt. We always get better. We always improve. And that's something we all do really, really well. So sticking to your principles, making sure that you're thinking through decisions. Don't be afraid to reach out. I've spoken more with our other business leaders, so-called competitors, than I ever have done. And we all want to help each other. We're all in the same business. We all want to look after our clients. Our clients need us now more than they ever have, especially in the next probably 5 to 6 months when you've got the energy crisis biting. They're going to be scared. They're going to be worried. They want advice. They need our help. They need calm, passionate advice. And that's what we do. So actually, this is a great opportunity for all of us to deliver our very best to our customers and show the rest of the country and every other industry what a good industry looks like.
Hey, listen, some pearls of absolute wisdom there from the two of you. I think, key takeaways for me, resilience, passion, encourage that culture of inclusivity, encourage conversation, look for warning signs with staff members, but encourage conversations with between the advisors and the consumer community who are looking and need advice like they've never needed it with the challenges that are in front of us. Look, really appreciate your time. As I said, I think we've got some absolute golden nuggets in there, which hopefully will help people who listen to the webinar. Appreciate your time. Appreciate the support, the ongoing support with the MIMHC campaign, and thanks for your time today, and good luck as we go through the rest of the year. All right, cheers, chaps.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.